Days of Our Lives Spoilers. That web begins to unravel yet again as guilt, revenge, betrayal, and unexpected alliances collide in dramatic and deeply personal ways. This day will not pass quietly in Salem. Let's dive deep into the chaos, heartbreak, and tension building in this stormy chapter of Days of Our Lives. Shawn struggles under the weight of guilt, and Beau's deterioration adds to the pain for Shawn Brady, Brandon Beamer. The days have been darker than ever. Haunted by the memory of the terrible moment when he accidentally shot his father, Beau Brady, Peter Reckle, Shawn has been spiraling. The remorse he carries in his heart is unbearable. And just when it seemed like he might start finding a way forward, news arrives like a hammer to the chest. Beau's health is deteriorating, and fast. Every medical update feels like another nail driven into the coffin of Shawn's hope. The guilt doesn't fade. It grows. Jada Eliakantu, ever compassionate, sees how broken Shawn is and tries her best to comfort him. But kind words can only go so far when a son is racked with the belief that he may have doomed his father. So Shawn makes a decision. He needs to do something. He can't stand still and suffer in silence. He needs a mission, a purpose. That's why he turns to Stephen Nichols, a man who knows a thing or two about impossible missions and fighting back when the odds are hopeless. Shawn needs guidance, not just comfort. And Steve may be the only one who can help him channel his guilt into action. But what kind of action is Shawn planning? Will he try to find some radical treatment for Beau? Or will he go down a darker road in his desperation to make things right? Philip faces the wrath of Salem, first Maggie, then Gabby. Philip Kyriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, has always walked a fine line between troubled soul and scheming businessman. But lately, his lies have come crashing down around him, leaving destruction in their wake. The truth about his manipulations has surfaced, and it's cost him dearly, not just in business but in respect and relationships. Earlier, Maggie Horton, Suzanne Rogers, always the moral compass of the Kyriakis clan, gave Philip a verbal lashing that was both stern and heartbreakingly disappointed. She didn't yell. She didn't need to. Her disappointment cut deeper than any angry outburst. Philip was left reeling from the encounter. But now the fire gets hotter. It's Gabby Hernandez's, Sherry Jimenez, turn to tell Philip exactly what she thinks of him. And unlike Maggie, Gabby doesn't come from a place of calm or forgiveness. She's blunt, sharp, and unafraid to strike when provoked. The two face off in a confrontation that threatens to ignite a corporate explosion at Gabby Chic. Ownership battles, accusations, power struggles. It's all on the table. Still, Philip is no stranger to Gabby's own shady past. He throws it back at her with icy precision. He knows she's no saint and he won't let her play one. The room crackles with tension as two powerful personalities clash over both business and pride. This fight isn't just about Gabby Chic, it's about dominance, redemption, and unhealed wounds. Xander and Alex, strange allies, dangerous plans. Meanwhile, the surprise team-up of Xander Cook, Paul Telfer, and Alex Kyriakis, Robert Scott Wilson, adds an unexpected twist to the day's events. Once bitter enemies, especially after all the chaos surrounding Philip's secrets, the air has cleared between them, if only temporarily. With Philip's lies exposed, Xander and Alex realize they have something in common, a thirst for justice and maybe a little revenge. There's no more reason for hostility. Instead, they join forces to bring Philip down a peg or several. Their alliance is dangerous and unpredictable. Both men are charming and capable of mischief, but also capable of going too far. And as they plot, it becomes clear they're not just thinking about retaliation. They might seize the chance to climb higher themselves. Business deals, power moves, and perhaps a few schemes of their own are already brewing behind those sly smirks. Leo's boredom turns into intrusion, and Gabby's had enough across town. Leo Stark, Greg Ricart, is once again turning his boredom into chaos. Living under Gabby's roof, eating her food, lounging around like a freeloading house guest from hell, Leo is the very definition of unwelcome. But now his meddling crosses the line. With Javi El Calderon equally bored, Leo hatches a plan to entertain himself, digging into Gabby's personal belongings. His curiosity has a purpose, though. He suspects Gabby might be hiding something related to the attempted shooting of EJ Demera, Dan Feuerriegel. A theory, perhaps, or just a wild hunch fueled by gossip and intuition, but Leo is convinced that Gabby is somehow involved. So, while Gabby is out, Leo rummages through her bag, hunting for evidence. Unfortunately for him, Gabby isn't the type to let something like that go unnoticed or unpunished. When she finds out, her fury may finally boil over. She's been threatening to kick Leo out for days. This might be the last straw. And it may just be what pushes Leo to act on an idea he's been mulling over, convincing Javi that it's time for the two of them to find their own place. A fresh start, or just a way for Leo to plot in peace. Either way, Gabby might finally get her space back, assuming Leo doesn't cause more damage on his way out. Secrets, lies, and family drama, the Johnson women bear the burden amid all the external chaos. Another storm brews quietly in the hearts of Salem's women. Stephanie Johnson, Abigail Klein, breathes a sigh of relief now that she no longer has to lie about Victor Kiriakis's, John Aniston, will. But relief is fleeting. She now carries a different burden. Protecting the truth that Sarah Horton, Lindsay Godfrey, has known all along. And then there's Kayla Brady, Mary Beth Evans, Stephanie's mother, who is also holding onto a troubling secret. The mother-daughter duo are no strangers to Salem's tradition of holding onto secrets for the greater good. But what happens when too many lies fester beneath the surface? What happens when silence is no longer a shield, but a curse? The emotional weight of hidden truths, especially within families, threatens to fracture bonds. Will Stephanie and Kayla finally confront what they've both been avoiding? Or will silence destroy them from within? A Town on the Brink May 1st marks a turning point in Salem. Every storyline is coiling tighter, the tension growing unbearable. Next, the halls of Salem University Hospital echo with tension and unspoken truths as E.J. DiMera refuses to rest, even when bedridden after a harrowing brush with death. Against all logic and doctor's orders, he insists on sitting upright, glaring into the screen of his tablet as if willing answers into existence. His mother, Susan Banks, storms into the hospital room, exasperated and fiery, demanding that he return to bed. But E.J., ever the stubborn DiMera, resists. "My son needs me. I can feel it," he says with a firm finality that leaves no room for argument. Susan narrows her eyes, caught somewhere between motherly concern and the supernatural sense she so often leans into. She warns him again. The person who tried to end his life is still out there, and his safety is still in jeopardy. But E.J. won't listen. There's a pull he can't ignore. A sense that something is deeply broken between him and Johnny, and this time, it might be beyond repair if he doesn't act fast. He opens up just a little to his mother. Johnny, he says, is in pain. Ever since learning certain painful truths about E.J., truths that still remain cloaked in shadows to us, the viewers, Johnny has been spiraling. He hasn't reached out, hasn't responded, hasn't tried to mend things. And that silence is deafening. E.J. knows he can't wait for Johnny to come to him. He has to go to his son. He has to make things right. But the question hangs heavily in the air. Can a father who has sinned so deeply ever truly earn redemption in the eyes of his son? Meanwhile, in the heart of the DiMera mansion, Johnny DiMera lies slouched on the DiMera couch, surrounded by the silent remnants of what once felt like a happy home. The echo of Chanel's voice as she kicked him out still rings in his ears. The bitter sting of her disappointment, of her heartbreak, seems to hang in the air like smoke after a fire. "What did I do?" he whispers aloud to no one. But someone is listening. Paulina Price steps into the room with the righteous fury only a mother figure can muster. She's not here for excuses or pity parties. She sees right through Johnny's brooding act. Her eyes narrow as she commands him to stop hiding, to clean himself up, and to fight for his wife before it's too late. "You're not your father, Johnny," she says sharply. "And you don't have to carry his sins. But you are the one pushing your wife away." Johnny, ashamed, lowers his head. "I am his sin," he mumbles, a phrase that cuts through the room like a knife. The burden of being E.J. DiMera's son, of carrying the DiMera legacy, of bearing the fallout from decisions not entirely his own, weighs heavily on him. But Paulina won't allow him to wallow. She stands her ground and makes it clear, Johnny can get through this. But not alone. He needs Chanel. He needs to stop running. He needs to show her that their marriage, their bond, means something. That it's worth saving. That love, no matter how bruised, can be salvaged. After Paulina storms out, Susan enters quietly, her tone gentler but just as pressing. She greets her nephew warmly with a smile that tries to cut through the fog of his misery. She encourages Johnny to go visit E.J. But Johnny isn't interested in reconciling with his father, not yet. His heart, his focus, is elsewhere. "I need to fix things with Chanel first," he says softly. Across town, a heartbreaking scene unfolds. At a local celebration event, Chanel awkwardly bumps into Felicity and her younger sister Kat. The atmosphere is light at first. Felicity is being honored for winning a gold medal in gymnastics, but things quickly unravel when Felicity, perhaps unintentionally, brings up the topic of the adoption. Chanel's heart sinks. The reminder of the adoption, of her and Johnny's shattered dream of parenthood, is too much to bear. She abruptly leaves, tears welling in her eyes. When she returns, her apology is genuine but hollow. She tells the girls that she won't be a mother. Not now, maybe not ever. The grief in her voice is unmistakable. Felicity, realizing her mistake, offers a heartfelt apology. Before the conversation can deepen, Paulina arrives. Seeing the fragile emotional state her daughter is in, she quietly urges the girls to leave so she can speak to Chanel alone. Paulina, ever the fierce protector, refuses to accept defeat. She assures Chanel that this breakdown between her and Johnny is only temporary. She reminds her daughter that she just met Johnny, really met the man behind the hurt, and that despite his many mistakes, he is drowning in guilt and regret. You saw him at his worst, Paulina says softly, but that doesn't mean he can't still be the man you fell in love with. Chanel shakes her head, uncertain. Everything feels broken. Their marriage, their hopes of starting a family, their trust, it's all lying in pieces. But Paulina isn't giving up. And deep down, neither is Chanel. Where do we go from here? Back at the hospital, EJ stares at the clock, restless. His body may be healing, but his mind is elsewhere. He aches for his son's forgiveness, but he fears it may never come. At the DeMera mansion, Johnny scrolls through old photos on his phone. He stops at one, a candid shot of him and Chanel laughing together on their honeymoon. A flicker of hope flashes across his face. At Paulina's apartment, Chanel opens the drawer of her nightstand. Inside lies the ultrasound photo from when they first began the adoption process. She holds it for a long moment, tears silently falling down her cheeks. Two hearts, both hurting, both unsure how to move forward, but neither ready to let go completely. Will EJ find the strength to finally come clean? Will Johnny reach out before it's too late? Can Chanel forgive? Not just Johnny, but herself? The answers may not come today, but in Salem, the tides of love, regret, and redemption never stay still for long. Stay tuned. The story is far from over.